You're listening to an inside look with North America's top 50 site consultants. How do I land a big deal in my community? What are location consultants really looking for? Join us as we pull back the curtain and look inside the secrets of site selection with your hosts, Tim Tarentine and Amanda Harrison.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an inside look, North America's top 50 site consultants. We're exploring the ways of living and working and being of some of the top leaders in the site selection business. Amanda, you had a conversation. Tell us all about it.
Thanks, Tim. Hey, everybody. I spoke with Dan Foster this week. He is a managing director at Newmark Grubb Knight Frank. He has over 20 years of experience managing corporate site selection, projects, and incentives for his clients. Previously, he was a director at Duff & Phelps in their business incentives groups out of Detroit. And he also has experience working with Deloitte & Touche and Ernst & Young. And he's a Michigan guy, so he was born and raised in Ann Arbor, and he got into the field of site selection back when he was still just a graduate student. So he's got a lot of experience in this industry, and I can't wait for you to hear the insights he shared with us today. Dan, thank you so much for joining us today on an Inside Look, North America's top 50 site consultants. Welcome to the podcast.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks.
Well, we appreciate you taking some time to chat with us today. So we'll get started with this. What are 3 things that everyone should know about you?
I've been married for over 25 years. I have 3 children, born and raised in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I've been in economic development, site selection for about 20 years now.
Wow, that's incredible. So how did you first get your start in this field of site selection?
Well, it's a circuitous route. So I started off in graduate school. I was in the Masters of Urban and Regional Planning program, and I was most interested in urban design, and they had an urban design program. And right after the first semester, the person who started up the urban design program left. And so we had to kind of find something else to do. And one of my professors, the economic development. And from there, just led me into a career in economic development, site selection. So that's kind of how I got to where I am.
Excellent. Well, it's interesting to hear that you were brought into the field during your education years, which is pretty cool. Can you tell us, in your over 20 years of experience in this industry, do you have an inside secret that you use when you're assessing a project that you can share with us today?
You know, I would say, and this probably isn't the technical answer that you might be looking for, but, you know, really it's about the people. Are they open and welcoming? We try to understand that. If they are, the community's easier to work with, and they stand a better chance of landing the project if we're all working together. And I say that because sometimes that's not what we experience. So for me personally, and I think a lot of my team would probably support this, you know, when we have an open and welcoming community, it breaks down all kinds of other barriers, makes our job easier.
Yes, that is a good reminder that relationship side, the people skills side, the practice of being open and welcoming is really important. And you've got to have that before you even start looking at all of the technical aspects. Dan, talk to us a little bit about some of the key issues that keep coming up for your clients today. Are there specific things that are reoccurring that are first and foremost on your clients' minds, and what can economic developers and communities be doing about it?
Yeah, I would say, and I think this is probably well known, labor availability and quality. That's number 1 on the list. So when we develop our critical location factors, that's typically at the top of the list. So what's important to the company, what's important to the success of their project or their operation, it's labor availability and quality. When we look at communities, you know, we look at your educational system, and that says a lot about your community. That says a lot about your labor force, really. And then I guess, what can economic developers and communities do about it? So I would say you have to have an attractive place to live. You got to have a place where people want to live, because it's about not only attracting those folks, but it's about retaining them as well. I guess what I would say to communities is, if you have issues or problems, confront those problems. Don't hide from it. And then tell us what you're doing to solve the problem. Because sometimes, we deal a lot with numbers and statistics. And you know what they say about statistics. You can make them, I guess, tell the story that you want to tell. We just urge them to be open about their strengths and weaknesses, whether it's labor availability and quality, which is the number one, or whatever the location factor is.
So are there any specific types of marketing strategies that work best on you? I know you mentioned that you are doing projects and you're working with clients all across the country. So what is the best way to get your attention if an economic developer wanted to market to you? Are you a print mail? Do you like email? Are you a relationship, pick up the phone kind of a guy? What works best for you, Dan?
Yeah, I think pick up the phone. I like meeting the community reps. It gives me a feel for the community. And because they're so integral to the process, it helps to have a relationship with those folks. So meeting them face-to-face ultimately is the best, but the phone is also a great way. So whatever they can do to personalize the marketing, I think works best. At least for me, it does. And again, I like to meet the people, and I like to know who I'm dealing with. It gives me a sense of confidence, too. Sense of confidence in who I'm working with, I should say, and getting the work done.
Great. A couple more questions, and then we will get you out of here. What is one leadership lesson that you carry with you from all of your experience that you could pass on to others?
I think maybe the most important is be who you are, be authentic. Don't pretend to be something that you're not. People see through that. And I think ultimately, if you are being who you are, you'll develop a stronger relationship based on mutual trust. So I would say, again, be who you are.
Excellent. And if you could tell a room full of economic developers just one thing as we close out today's conversation, what would that one thing be?
So I would say there's so many things. So site selection folks like myself, we rely on data. So I would say always maintain good data in an Excel format if you can. And I'd say keep it up to date and true, meaning provide the good and the bad because no one's perfect. We understand that. I'd tell them let the not so good data guide you as you work proactively to better your community. But we're going to take that data and we're going to slice it, dice it a lot of different ways. It just helps us if we're working with a community with very good data. It says a lot of things about the community, too. They understand, what their issues are when you have good data.
Fantastic. Dan, thank you so much for your time today. We really enjoyed speaking with you and hearing all of your insights related to this industry. And again, we just want to congratulate you on being named by your peers and our economic developer community as one of North America's top 50 site consultants.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity, and I hope this helps.
Thank you for tuning in to North America's Top 50, produced by Consultant Connect, where we're working to bridge the gap between leading economic developers and location consultants. To learn more about what we do and how to get involved, please visit consultantconnect.com or tweet me at Ron Kitchens.